What's up, Ham Fam? Welcome to a special episode of Heart as a Mother. Before we get started, we know that especially in times like these, it's really important to support local. That's why we're happy to announce that today's episode is brought to you by Soko Local. Soko Local is an online search engine for local products that aims to support local businesses by making it easier to find and shop local products. So the website and the app kind of works like Google. All you have to do is search a product and get hundreds of results from local businesses in your city. And the best part is it's totally free. There's no commissions or fees, and purchases are made directly from the businesses. And businesses can list their products for free as well. So check it out and support your small business community at socolocal.com. And be sure to also download the app that's available for iOS and Android. So for those of you who are new and just tuning in, we are Jizzy and Har, just two moms on a mission to create a safe space for other moms and dads, or anyone really, to share in the honesty and the realness that comes with parenthood while also being able to laugh at ourselves. And as usual, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Harleen.
So guys, what's up? The anticipation has literally been killing me. It's been like 2 months and it's like here. But before we start, in the spirit of reconciliation, we want to acknowledge that we are Treaty 7 territory, the traditional territories of the Blackfoot nations, including Siksika, Piikani, Kainai, the Tsuut'ina, I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, Nation, and Stoney Nakoda First Nations. We acknowledge that all the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit whose footsteps have marked these lands for centuries. So guys, it's finally here. Today we have a very special recording, a spin-off off our show. So the past year, we've gotten some really amazing positive feedback from the dad community on some of our episodes, and we have like a large following of dads, and we were able to get some amazing dope dads on our show. So today we got them back into the studio.
Yeah, and like, why not give the dads more of what they want to see from the dad point of view? So we pulled together our past guests on our Dope Dad episodes to bring you guys the dad experience. And the best part is, you guys, these dads come from all walks of life. And they all have their own unique stories to tell.
Yeah, so without further ado, Heart as a Mother presents the Dope Dad Collective, Stevie, Jason, Patricio, and Albert. Woo!
Well, I guess we're all here. I guess I can't really claim that like I'm the best dad, but
I mean, you could.
I could claim it, but then I'd be lying. So, but I think like the reason that we're all here is that we're all kind of like real about like our experiences and have all been through some stuff, in terms of like fatherhood and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So I guess that's what we're here to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Going through the challenges together, sharing our best practices.
That's the reason why we got the beard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I don't know. Let's start off with some intros.
Yeah.
Stevie?
Sure. You want me to go first?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Name's Stevie. I am a father to a 3-year-old. I've been married for about 4 years, coming up 5 here pretty soon. My daughter's name is Olivia Reese. She is a firecracker of a child. Chloe and I, Chloe's my wife, we always like wished, like when she was pregnant, we always wished that we were going to have like a strong, independent daughter.
Yeah.
And we got just that. So we're super blessed for that.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Nice.
Chloe always reminds me, you can't pick and choose the times that she's going to be that strong, independent woman. So we cope with it. You know what I mean?
You got two strong, independent women in your house, then you got to do it.
Yes.
That's nice.
That's a good, strong female energy.
Nice. That's a little different than me. I have a 9-year-old son. His name is Mateo. I used to be married. I came out gay to my wife back in 2014. We still raise Mateo together. We do an awesome job, what I think an awesome job co-parenting my son. He's our number one priority. Keeps me on my toes, loves being active, loves sports, good at sports, thankfully. He's also good at school. So, yeah, can't ask for anything better. No regrets. No,
Nice.
nothing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm Jason Paya. I'm a business owner. I'm divorced too. Yeah, so we have a blended family, man. There's 6 of us going on 7.
Crazy.
That could be a show. But yeah, I had 2 from my previous relationship. They're 17 and 15. Well, she's not my wife yet, but Nikki, she had one from a previous relationship. Sophie, she's 14. 13, sorry.
We don't fact check here.
Yeah,
It's all
sorry.
good.
Too many, man. There's too many to count. And then we have Scarlett, who's turning 4 in August, and then we have one coming on the way.
Hey.
Yeah, number 5. Come on, man. All girls too, man. So, yeah. So that's been an interesting journey for sure.
Is the one on the way is a girl as well too? Do you know? What you're
No,
having?
well, we planned for a boy. Like,
Wow.
there's a bunch of there's all these
We make-
Chinese calendar. There's positions. There's fucking yeah, everything, man. So we try to stack it all up and just see what happens.
Hope for the
So,
best.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 'cause if it counts for anything, it's a completely different pregnancy than any ones that she's had. So like she's sore, sick, all these different things. So it feels like a boy, but we just left it as when it was time to find the gender, we just left it as a surprise. So
Oh, good.
yeah.
So no gender reveal party.
No.
Yeah.
Some of you guys are
We're 4 kids in, man. That's too many parties.
some of you couples are crazy with that stuff.
That's so funny how you brought that up, because I remember when we were trying to conceive, that was like what we were trying to follow too, was like calendar and moon and like day and week or whatever it was. I just went with the flow. My name is Albert Mejia. I'm also a business owner. I have a couple businesses here in Calgary. Some you guys might know, Legal Hustle Clothing, By Miles Design and Print Studios, and YYC Soldiers. But I'm also a dope dad, just like you guys. I do have a toddler. He's about a year. He's actually 20 months tomorrow. So the date of recording is June 1st. And he's going to be 20 months tomorrow. And he's just crazy.
Yeah.
I've seen the videos, bro.
Yeah, he's like, I haven't even showed him anything wrestling. And he's already like trying things. Like, I mean, I try it with him, but I haven't showed him like actual TV or anything of it. But he's like jumping off things on top of me now and
Nice.
like
Yeah.
taking the pillow and like shoving it in my face. Like, whoa.
I feel like it's a common thing with boys, though. I don't know. Like, it's just that Mateo is the same thing. you know,
Yeah.
like always roughhousing.
Like, he's like super rough.
Yeah.
And like I look at his hands and his hands are huge. And
Got my mitts.
when he comes coming slapping at me, I was like, whoa.
That's gonna hurt.
You know, but like I got a 3-year-old daughter, and she's wild, man. She
Yeah.
plays like a boy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what everyone tells me. She plays like a boy, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I play pretty rough. With her,
Yeah.
You know, like I
Yeah, I
throw
seen
her in
that
the
video
bed.
of you guys doing the long jump and
Yeah, man.
stuff.
It's the best, right? Like, why else would you have a kid if you can't do like wrestling moves on them, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly, man. I was gonna
you
say.
gotta fine tune them for when they get older and they mess up.
Then they're ready for it, right?
They
Yeah,
know what
so-
to expect.
Yeah.
Sometimes Sen will walk in on me and Carter, like wrestling in the bedroom, and I'll be like slapping him on the bed or something. She'll be like, "Stop! He's gonna get hurt." I'm like, "No, he's not."
Yeah.
And then you see him like jump off the couch, and he like lands on his face, gets up, and starts laughing. And he's just like, "Ah, ha, 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 ha."
Yeah, man. Those kids are resilient, man. They could really take a beating. I'm just telling you.
So before we get started, guys, how dope are these pint glasses?
Yo, I like it.
They're sick, eh?
Dope
Yeah, I
dads.
love it, man.
Dope.
Dope
Dads.
dads.
Like
Uh,
wearing
thanks-
some t-shirts with this on there.
You're
Yeah.
just
I'm just
tasty.
saying, I think I
Sick,
know
man.
somebody that might do that.
So thanks so much to Thursday Sounds, who designed the Dope Dad logo and provided us with these glasses.
Yeah,
Thank you,
and
guys.
on
Cheers
top
to
of that,
them.
Cheers again, man.
special,
Yeah.
Cheers,
oh,
guys.
yeah.
Down for another.
Thursday Sounds. And on top of that, yeah, special thanks to Annex Ales, who's now our official beverage sponsor for all the Dope Dad episodes. Right now, I'm drinking the Italian Pilsner,
pretty tasty.
excuse me, and Idle Hands. It's delicious. So
Which one you got there, Albert?
I have the Forward Progress
How's that one?
Pale Ale. It's very good, crisp. I
Nice.
think that's what they said it was, and it actually is crisp.
romance it for me, bro. Come on, tell me all about it.
Comes
need
in
the
a
flavor
nice green and yellow bottle. Has a nice bear on it.
Yeah.
But it's very smooth. I like
yeah,
this one.
Annex Ales makes really great beer. So yeah,
Have you
make
guys
sure
been to the
check it
patio
out.
before?
At Annex Ales?
Yeah.
No, I've eaten inside though. I've been inside there.
Pretty tasty.
Sometimes. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. They got the Little Empire, right?
Yeah.
We're not sponsored by Little Empire, but if you are listening, we will take your hamburgers, Little Empire. So shout out to you too.
Shout out to local.
Yeah. So cool. What were we talking about?
I don't know. Well, luckily
Just
we got
dad
this
stuff,
guide here.
getting to know each other.
Just dad stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So should we start with this then, or what? Should
Yeah.
we do some notes?
Yeah.
What do you guys typically? I don't know. My first question would be to you guys: like, what do you guys typically struggle with your kids? Like, you have the most kids out of all of us, Jason. You're like the
Yeah.
oldest ones. Like, for me right now, I think struggling with Mateo in having that balance between like screen time and just like not screen time, because he's all about Fortnite right now. Fortnite and Roblox. It's all about that. So help.
Yeah, me, I don't know, man. They're teenagers, man. My oldest is 17. So she has a boyfriend. She has, the second oldest is dabbling and seeing boys. So I'm kind of dealing with all that stuff right now. My biggest struggle is patience, man. It's patience. It's not getting discouraged when you're trying to teach them shit.
Yeah.
And just realizing that whatever you teach them it's gonna take a while to kick in.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the
Well-
biggest thing for me, man.
What was it like
Patience.
when she brought in her boyfriend?
It wasn't bad, man, because
Did you ever
Every-
picture yourself being that dad? Like the tough.
like the
Yeah.
I think everybody did, especially when Bad Boys came out, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking about right now. Was Bad Boys.
So I don't know, like I kind of lived like two different lives as dads, man, because I went through a divorce when I was a teen dad, right? I started at 19, so that was like just like an emotional.
Roller coaster. Like you're still
Roller
learning
coaster,
life
yeah.
in general. Period. From having to.
Yeah,
navigate.
yeah, exactly. So it was like a lot of crazy shit, man, and making mistakes. And then the second go around, it's like, you made those mistakes. You're a bit more humble, and you're just a bit more humble and calm, man. So I forget what the question was, though. What was the
It
question?
was about struggles.
Struggles.
And, like,
Struggles.
I echo the exact same way. And like with what you said about screen time, like screen time rules are out the freaking window right now with like COVID
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like let's just
I know.
like dad gotta get some shit done. You know what I'm saying? So just
Yeah.
like sit here and watch this for an hour or two.
Yeah.
But I echo what you say, man, about the patience thing. That's like one of my biggest struggles for sure too. Just trying to like be more of a conscious parent rather than just like reacting all the damn time. You know what I mean? That's like something that I'm trying to like really work on and try to be better at. So
I think that's where I'm at right now. Because when I was on the podcast, I think that was November, maybe October, Carter just turned 1. So he was still kind of like, not like in the newborn phase, but infant, getting into toddler. And now he's like doing things where sometimes like he'll defy some stuff.
they challenge you, bro.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm
To
like,
see
what
how
the
far they can push.
like what the fuck? And like thinking about it, sometimes I do lose my patience with him, and it's like I do raise my voice if I have to, but sometimes I raise it and I have to stop myself because it's like it's not his fault. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just everything to him is fun. And the crazy part is every time I raise my voice at him, he like looks really sad, and then he'll look up at me and smile.
Sucker.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
Played you.
Yeah.
I just played myself. But that's the thing. Like, I don't I'm trying to work on being patient right now, especially with him, being a year and a half or a year and a bit now, and understanding how his mind works and knowing that, he's not really doing anything wrong. He's kind of just exploring. And to step back and look at myself and be like, what are you really mad about?
Yeah.
Like, am I mad because he's jumping around and I can't sit and chill for a bit? Or am I mad that, he's actually doing something bad where he shouldn't be doing it? And it's like trying to figure out that balance sometimes, I think, is one of the things that I struggle with.
That's what my mom's son always would tell me, like, pick your battles. You're not going to fight with him for, like, everything that he does
Yeah.
wrong. So just, like, pick the ones that, like, really matter and just go with it. Or else
Yeah.
you're just going to drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
Because
It's true.
I feel like that's something as a parent, whether you're a dad or a mom, patience is is something that you learn, and it's like a constant process. And I'm still learning patience with Mateo because like they're evolving, and then my patience has to evolve a little bit more to put up with his other bullshit, now that he's older. So
Well, Jay said like he mentioned the things that he had to deal with like with a teenager, like with the dating and stuff like that. What do you have to kind of like put up with a 9-year-old boy?
It's funny because right now he thinks he's going through puberty. So he's all like, I'm going through puberty and all this stuff. And he's like, Dad, when did your voice change? And I was like, like, I don't remember. I don't even, I was trying to think back of like when my voice changed. I think I was more of like a late bloomer. So it was like in junior high kind of thing. But I remember it was like, I showed, it was like during the summer that it happened because I started the school year and everything. And he was all just like, everyone was just like, oh, do you have a cold? Are you sick? And it's like, no, I'm a man now. So I don't know what I struggle with Mateo. I think, I don't know. He's a tough, keeping up with him. I think that's something that I need to keep up with is, his stamina and endurance. Cause that kid can go forever and want to like play soccer or go like biking and stuff. And I'm all for it. I love it. So yeah, I don't know.
That's funny.
That's the thing I noticed too, man, because I got all girls, right? So naturally, I don't know, they've been calmer. My oldest, she's kind of been like a tomboy back in the day, but she's all girl now. But my sister has boys, and yeah, it's the same thing. They just so much energy.
Yeah.
Destructive.
Yup.
Oh shit. It's crazy, man. So
and they test things, like they just do things, like they'll like throw something at something, see if it'll break, you know what I mean? And just like try to test it. And I don't know what goes through their mind, but
yeah,
I guess we're all boys.
No, my
I get it.
my nephew Jaden, he was like, I just remember this. It was we're all watching a UFC fight. I just got a new TV, and he just stood in front of it, screamed, and tossed a ball
Right at
the
the
damn
TV.
big screen. And I was at the top, and so I was like, "What the?
What's wrong with you, man?"
I was like, Jesus Christ! But,
So you're that dad, hey?
yeah. But I was like, "Damn it, yeah." But no, but it's
Yeah.
pretty funny.
No, that's crazy.
It's
That's so
definitely,
funny
it's
how
definitely
you-
a change.
How are you talking about testing? Because there's like a moment with Carter right now. He's been doing it for, I want to say like 5 months. But every time we turn the oven on, he walks up to it and he like,
Oh shit.
but he just like touches the glass
Yeah.
with the back of his hand, like to see if it's hot. And
Huh.
I'm like, where the fuck did you do that shit?
Yo, what's wrong with you, kid?
Yeah, and like anytime there's like if it's hot water for him to test it, he always just like uses the
Just the
back of his hand. Yeah. And
That's so
like
cute.
I never showed him that. My wife never showed him that.
He's got some good instincts, that kid.
Yeah.
He knows wrestling moves and he knows how to test.
yeah, you, like and he goes hot.
Huh.
And then we were just at my parents' house on the weekend and he walked up to the oven and they have like an older oven where you can actually feel the heat. And he left his hand on there for a bit cuz at our house, our oven's one of those newer ones and if you touch it, it's kind of cold.
Yeah.
And he felt it and he's like, "Whoa, hot." I'm like, "Doesn't that like hurt?" And then he kept doing it. But it was just like it's so weird how you guys were just talking about like testing things.
Yeah.
and-
Well, it's always like whenever you tell the kid not to do something, it's just like they're gonna do it now, right?
Yeah. But like we didn't even say any like I still remember the moment it was like I just turned on the oven light and he just walked up to it and was like
Hmm.
and he's like hot and then he just walked away and I just looked at him like what?
It's trippy how these kids like pick up stuff too. Because like I said, the 3-year-old at home that I have, she's just like. She like to say like the craziest shit sometimes. It's
Yeah.
like, where did you pick that up? Like, I've never said that. Like, okay, she had a diaper blowout. Like, she shit her pants like so hard that it came out the sides of her diaper, right? And she was out with her grandparents at the time, and they were just like parked in some parking lot and just like kicking it, eating like I don't know nuggets in the car or something like that, right? Anyway, she shit her pants, and she said, "Oh, it was a disaster." And I was like, "Where the hell?" I've never called your diapers or like accidents or anything like that a disaster. Like we're usually like pretty like, "Oh, it's all good, we'll clean it up
Yeah.
and we'll get it done," right? But then she's like, she called it a disaster.
Yeah.
It's like, where the fuck did you pick that from? Like,
It's
damn.
crazy because like I noticed that with Mateo, he would pick up words and stuff that me and his mom would never like use either, or he'll just like say like smart things, and it's just like, man, where are you picking this stuff up? But then I don't know, like, does your little one watch like YouTube and stuff like that?
We try to like limit the YouTube.
Yeah, fair, but like
she watches-
COVID.
yeah, but COVID, right? Yeah, she watches like a lot of like Disney and stuff, like a lot of the movies. It's funny that you said that. Like that just reminded me of a story when I was like sitting in the car with my mom, and I was about the same age as Mateo. I was about like I don't know, 8 or something like
Yeah.
that. And my mom said something, and we were having a disagreement, and I said, "You're being such a whore." But in my mind, I thought like horror, like you're being
Oh,
terrible.
okay.
It's
I was
horror
like,
is scary.
wow.
But I called her a whore, and my mom tripped on me. Oh, I've never seen her so mad in my life. But like,
Crazy.
I don't know where I picked that up from either. Probably from like a movie or some shit like that, right? So like, I don't know, man. Just you saying that is like reminding me of that story. I never
That's
thought about this in
crazy.
like maybe like 25 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell I would do if I said that to my mom like that. That's crazy.
I'm like, I am so alive sitting here with you guys right now. For real.
Whatever you meant to call her, you were gonna call her something. So that's crazy.
Anyways.
So what else? What
Question
keeps,
number 2, yeah.
yeah. What keeps you guys up at night? You know?
I was gonna ask you because seeing that you have, how old are your youngest right now?
She's 3.
3.
Like, I don't know.
To
Almost 4.
17.
3
Yeah,
to
to 17. So like, what was the difference when it came to the late nights? Like, obviously you have a range,
Yo,
right?
yeah.
What do you mean late nights? That's like, what do you do late at night when bedtimes, things like that?
Bedtime, and then even late
Oh,
nights now with a
right.
17-year-old.
Yeah.
I heard your podcast, and I know about like structure and stuff, and most people who are close to me, man, it's like I'm not a structured person at all, man, like at all.
Me neither, bro.
And we're pretty free, so yeah, like they go to bed when we get down, finish working, and I don't know,
It's like,
We're
you're
pretty
tired?
free,
Okay,
man,
go
I
to
know.
sleep.
like we're pretty like crazy about parenting and stuff like that. But I guess with those, with what do you call that? Schedule and stuff like that.
Routines.
Routines. It's like we've never been like that routined. I guess ever, so.
Strict.
Yeah.
It with some things because it's business and like
Yeah, you gotta.
I
be
am
in
strict,
some,
but
some
I guess
places.
with those things, we've always been a bit carefree. Like one of my best friends is his mom's a teacher. Or not his mom's. His wife is a teacher, so she's like the complete opposite. So sometimes I'll tell her, "Oh yeah, Scarlett went to bed like past midnight," and she's, "Oh my god!" Like, it's like, sorry, man, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But it's just like what Patricio said, like pick and choose your battles.
Yeah,
right?
pick and
Yeah.
choose your battles, man. Yeah,
Bet-
exactly.
Bedtime's a war for me still too. Like I said, like I try to get like this routine going in my podcast, but like I pick and choose when I can do the routine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like bedtime too is like for me like so I live with my in-laws, right? We get a ton of help, which has been like such a blessing for us. So like when Liv goes to bed, she actually lays in bed with her grandparents,
Oh, nice.
and then when she's knocked out, we take her back to our room, right? So we co-sleep, we like, we do everything you're not supposed to
Yeah,
do,
we-
right?
yeah.
We do all that shit too, so but like
Yo,
yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah, man. Like you try to stick to routine, but anything can change that routine.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like the kid could take a quick 5-minute nap in the car. She'll be up till
Yo, and
like
you're
1 o'clock in the
That's
morning.
You're
crazy.
fucked,
Yeah.
bro.
I was like always on the ride home from my parents' house to like when we go home and stuff. It was just trying to keep Mateo up because it's like he even sleeps for like 10 minutes on the way home, and then we're screwed. You know,
Yeah,
like
you're
I'd be
completely
screaming
This
in the
kid,
car. I'm
yeah.
like, "Arr!"
yeah.
fucked. Making the craziest noises.
I'm
and
like
shit.
playing like DMX and stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Rolling. yeah.
like I have this thing too. Sometimes I'll like, if I'm driving, I'll reach back and I'll like try to tickle, like I'll grab his knee to tickle him.
Yeah.
And I was doing that to him last week. Actually, he fell asleep and he was just laughing with his eyes closed.
That's crazy.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, I do that all the time too. Like just like scream and do like the wildest shit to keep my kid awake. But yeah, routines are tough.
But like aside from like the curfew side of things with like putting kids to bed, like what keeps you guys up at night? Like in terms of like your parenting. Like for me personally, I think back of all the shit that I used to do when growing up, like when I started going to the bars and partying, and I mean drinking and then maybe drugs and stuff like that. Like for me, sometimes I just like lay in bed and I think like I definitely don't want Mateo to be doing some of the shit that I did back in the day because like sometimes people fall into like dark holes, you know what I mean? And like those kinds of things. I want to be able to support my son, to be like the friend, but also be a dad, have that balance. So like, I don't know. Do you guys think about shit like that when you guys go to bed? Or like, I don't know. Am I the only one that just overthinks things?
Sometimes I overthink.
I do. 100%.
Like I'll think about like my day with Carter. So the way that our family works, Nisa works 8:30 to like 4 to 5, and then I start from sometimes from 4 to whatever. Especially being a business owner, like there's no time limit, right? Like with you and I, whenever we work on our own thing, there's no time limit. We kind of just work until like, I'm sleepy.
Yeah.
So she takes the morning woodwork and then I take the night shift. would work. So I'll be up working, but sometimes when I'm working, I'll be thinking about things like that I did with Carter, where it comes with figuring out the balance of discipline. Like, did I get mad for no reason, or was there a purpose? You know, when I start overthinking it, I'm like, oh fuck, like, what if I said something to him and it's gonna fuck him up for like the rest of his life? And you know, like he's only a year and a half, right? But for him to start, when I see how he starts understanding things now, and like the small things you could say, like, I don't know if I could do anything with him.
Have a big
like it, just
repercussion.
raising my voice at him.
100%.
Right?
Yeah,
And
butterfly
like,
effect or something.
yeah, like, and you like, I think about that sometimes, and then, you know what, and then I think about when my dad would raise me or my mom, and it's like, you know, like my parents had it different, obviously, because they're immigrants. I'm assuming like some of you guys' parents are the same way, and like their discipline to us was different, and I try to make sure that I don't kind of fall in that same
kind of like
backhand
kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know,
like
the
it's not
belts
a
and stuff.
bad thing, but
No.
I, you know, like we were built different from our parents, but we were also able to build a foundation to understand, you know, the difference, right? But for me, yeah, I think what I stay up with a lot at night is just like thinking about that shit.
Yeah.
Did I
I
overdo it or not?
No, I feel that. I feel that for sure. Like, I've had nights like that too, where I was just like, "Fuck, I wish I did something. I did that differently."
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, man, I really fucked that up today with
Yeah.
Olivia. You know, I wish I was just like a little bit more patient, or maybe I just didn't trip out as much as I did that one time. You know, the thing is though, like, you know, we're only human. We're all gonna like fuck up at some point. You know, we're all gonna lose our patience at some point. It's just like how we bounce back from it after that, right? After
Absolutely.
the fact, you know, we can like kill ourselves over it, or we can just like come back the next day and try to do better. That's what I try to do, at least.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Go ahead, Jason. What were you going to say?
No, I was just gonna say nothing. That keeps me up at night.
When you got that many kids, man,
Yeah,
you're
honestly, like
tired. Head is
that-
the pillow.
Yeah, the Murphy's Law is real. Like anything that can happen.
And you
will.
started having kids at a young age, too. Like, you were 19, you said?
Yeah, I was 19, so I'm 36 now.
Oh yeah, you're a veteran to the game now.
Yeah, well, it's hard regardless, man. Wherever you start. So, but yeah, nothing really keeps me up. Like I said, I kind of live two lives as a parent and as a husband and all that shit. So, I know in the beginning, like I guess I kind of have a little story of, because I used to be exactly that, man. Like what you're talking about, like the thing with our parents. My mom, like if you're roughhousing, even my aunt, I remember, if we're roughhousing, we're wrestling and all that shit. Somebody gets hurt. The aunt will come. What's going on here? You're hurt. Oh my god! You know, and when my oldest kids were young, I remember that like they were playing on their bikes in the alley, and when I first started dating Nikki, I remember all the kids were playing, and I remember Gabby, my second oldest, she fell and whatever, and I did the exact same friggin' thing, man, freaking out. What happened to you? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and yeah, you just kind of realize that after with time. It's like, oh shoot, man, like it's, I don't know, the emotions, like control that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Well,
yeah.
like when I was on here last, the girls asked me a question about like us having girls and stuff like that, and having girls out in the world, and like a lot of the stuff at the time was like there were girls getting attacked in downtown Calgary and all that type of stuff. Like my daughter's only 3. I'm not really thinking about that right now, but I know like I will be at some point in time. Is that something that like you ever think about or worry about, having like older girls,
Yeah,
especially high school age
for
and stuff
sure.
like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. No, because well, it was like a little flash in the pan. But I eat like there's like what do you call that? Martial arts and things like
Yeah.
that, like self defense. We're thinking of getting them little what do you call those pepper spray. Just because it's true,
Yeah.
man. But I think you said in your podcast, I listened to the whole thing.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, all you guys, but yeah, teaching them how to be strong, man. You know, you teach them how to be strong, intelligent, brave, so they can take care of themselves, man. And you know, you just I think Kobe Bryant said that too, man. It's like you build the trust, build the strength in the kid, and then you just put the trust in the kid, and you know, that's all you can do. And after that, you forget about it. And that's one thing that business taught me. That's why I can sleep at night, man. It's just you're just constantly working. I don't know. Most business people say meditation and shit, journaling. So I do that like daily,
Yeah.
and that really helps my nerves. Because honestly, like I used to be a super emotional dude, man, like, I struggled with that and, anger and things like that. But, yeah, shit, business kind of humbled me and,
Yeah.
That's good to know though. Like, I mean, it's a good tip because I mean, personally myself, I still like, I consider myself to be like an emotional person. And especially with raising my dough, because like sometimes I can beat myself up to the point where I'm just like, like bringing myself down and like, trying to pick myself up after that. So like, hearing that like journaling and all that sort of stuff does help people out. It's a good like tip out there to all the dads who are watching and who struggle through these kinds of things too, right? Like, I don't know.
And especially like for guys, no one, journaling was more of a
diary.
Like a diary.
It's not gay, okay?
No, there's definitely a stigma though, like guys,
right?
What do they call that?
Toxic masculinity.
Masculinity. Excuse me. Yeah, that exactly.
Like I just started journaling. I've been doing it every day since November.
Nice.
And I always start off with 3 things that I was grateful for the day.
Cool. Good, yeah.
And then I have 3 goals that I wanted to get done for the week. And I write those 3 goals every day. Like, regardless if I get it done or not, I just write every day, because then if I don't get it done, then it kind of just moves on to the next week, right? Yeah. But then I always talk about, like, for me, that I've been really open about with my journaling now is, like, I've been super, super open with my relationship with God. Oh. And, like, it's never been, like, one of those things where, like, I don't push religion. I don't believe in religion.
Yeah. You're a spiritual man, I guess.
Though. Yeah, like I just believe that there's a God, and I don't judge anyone else if they believe in something else. But it was like, for me, growing up in a Catholic household, there was a lot of, if you're not doing this, you're bad, or if you're not, like there's a lot.
Trust me, I know.
Well, and it's my brother is also gay, and I didn't really understand everything that he went through, because my brother's also older than me. My sister's 16 years older and my brother's 14 years older than me.
Okay.
But like, I could have literally been their kid growing up, but I remember saying things when I would hang out with my brother, right, where it was like, oh, that shit's gay. Yeah. But like, I don't mean it like in a malicious way, like what you guys were talking about earlier today. It was just like, growing up in that era with my friends and stuff, that was kind of the stuff you said. But going back to just like the journaling, like for me, it really opened up my mind, and I felt like it cleanses my mind every day. You cleanse your palate, and it really did. It's crazy to see when I'm struggling, because I'll write about it. I'll be like, hey God, like today was a tough day. But then 3 months from now, like I look back at that day, and it's like 3 months later, there's a big difference. Like you're never, it's always going to go up and down, right?
Yeah, totally.
But then I would write things about like things I did with Carter or with Siniza and stuff, and to see the difference compared to, I didn't journal last year, but I would look at my Instagram post, and I could kind of remember things that I would post and be like, oh yeah, I remember what it felt like that day. It wasn't the best day. And then I'd look at what it was a year later through what I wrote down, and it's like, whoa, like, I thought this was going to be forever, but it was like so temporary.
Yeah.
Like that like negative
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I started that writing and stuff, man, is this dude, my boy JP. I think I'll bust quotes from this guy all the time, but he says writing is just a constant state of figuring things out. So as you write, you're like piecing shit together in your head, and and structuring things. And that's why I do it, man. It's exactly, you're just figuring out whatever the hell you're writing about, right?
Whatever's going on up here, you're kind of putting it in paper.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly.
That's cool.
So, and even if you're just like writing and your hands just going, like your mind's just kind of subconsciously figuring shit out, and like whatever.
Do you guys ever feel like foolish of what you guys are writing? Like, not foolish, but like, sometimes when you say things out loud, when you're thinking it in your head, it's one thing, but when you say it out loud, you sound like a friggin' idiot, but like, do you read back and think like, man, like I'm such an idiot, you know what I mean? Because like, I definitely
like maybe not at that moment when I'm writing
right.
it, but like
you really feel it in that
moment.
Maybe
if I went back like 2 weeks later and
or even like the next day.
And
it's like those drunk texts that you send and then you're just like, oh fuck.
Like, being a real sad boy right now.
That's one thing. I definitely felt like an idiot a lot of times in my life. So,
but journaling, I do wish I did earlier in life. Like I went through, like in my teenage years, I went through anxiety, depression, and all that kind of stuff. And it was like it took a huge toll on me. Like there were nights, and I was very prideful when I was young of calling kids helpline. And I do remember moments where I would wake up.
You would call it?
No, like I thought like the week would call.
Oh, word.
Right?
Oh.
Like it was just like that mentality in my head. And I remember nights where I would go to, like, my dad would be working a night shift, so my mom would be sleeping and my room was right beside her. And I was like maybe 13, 14, and I would just like unlock her door and open it, and then I would just stand there because I wanted to like tell her something didn't feel right. And then I remember one time she woke up and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was just like, "Oh shit, I think I'm sleepwalking." Like it.
Just
There
like
were-
played it off.
Yeah, like I did. There was this times when I was a kid where I wish I would write stuff,
Uh,
because then it would, you
Yeah.
know, it would have probably helped me process
yeah.
like what was in my mind,
Yeah,
right? When it
for
comes to
sure.
journaling. But again, like when we talk about it, it's like a diary. You're like,
Yeah.
I don't want to keep that shit.
Do you guys have a diary?
It's funny you bring up the sleepwalking thing though, man, because Nikki always laughs about this. But I think I don't know if I still sleepwalk and shit, but I know I sleep talk. But all my kids got the same thing, man. Like I was like infamous for like sleepwalking and doing fucking weird ass shit, man. Like I pissed in my drawer once.
My cousin used to do shit like that when he
Yeah,
was a
man.
kid.
My mom said I would bang on the walls, and it's crazy. My kids like they all do it, man. Like it's strong
That
in my
would
blood.
scare the shit out of
What's
me.
that? What's that
from
like
you.
to you though when you see you try to wake? Because I've always heard
Oh,
you don't
dude,
wake
yeah,
anyone
you're not
up,
supposed
right?
to.
It depends, man, because sometimes you get like the simple funny shit, and then you get like the level 10 scary shit, and it's like my daughter Gabby, one time we just heard some commotion in her room, and then me and Nikki were like, oh, like it's like screaming and shit like that, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? Okay, we both get up, open their room. What is that movie? Oh my god, the Blair Witch Project, man. The thing that scared me the most in that movie was the end where Buddy's standing in the corner.
in the
and shit,
corner,
Oh
right?
yeah.
my god.
I still fucking
That
get
would
goosebumps
scare
about
the
it right now,
shit
man.
out of me, man.
Anyway, so we open the door, and I'm scared to shit of Exorcist, man. Like that's so constant. But we open the door. Gabby's standing in the corner, on top of her bed, facing the corner like this, man. And then me and Nikki open the door. We're just like, oh, we're like, what are we supposed to do, man? Like, so it's crazy, man. And then you get kids coming, running in the room, running out. It's like, that's crazy shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you live in a madhouse, bro.
it's crazy.
I'd be
man.
scared shitless.
Yeah, it's fucking
My
scary.
sister
man.
used to tell me I used to do stuff like that. There is a like in my parents' house. There's like a set of stairs that go to like, I don't know, the entrance of the door, and then it goes down again.
Yeah.
And my sister said, and I kind of remember this. I would walk up to it at night and just stand there and look at it. And one time she came out. If you see my sister and she's like, Albert, I looked at her like this. I was like, like in my sleep. But then I like
creep.
remembered it. I still remember to this day like me looking at her, and then I just like was like, what? And then I just like walked into my room.
That's an exorcism, bro.
Apparently, you're not supposed to wake sleeping or people that are
Yeah.
sleepwalking. I don't know. That's,
That's
that's
what
what
I
I heard.
Your shit's wild.
Ah, frig. Yeah.
Okay, maybe we should just like pop up another question here.
Yeah,
then, hey? What do you have any resources or other dads that you confide in? Some friends, some homies. Like I got a few friends that got some kids. I got a few friends that don't. I got some that are expecting. So I'm kind of like all over the place there with that. So, but yeah, no, I'm pretty fortunate. You know, I got some homies that I can like definitely, you know, it's like, man, what do I do now about my kid?
Yeah.
I think I broke her, man. What do I do?
I think I broke her.
or like I had a fight with my wife, you know, I just something to like offload, you know. It's like pretty fortunate to have that sort of like around me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have a couple of like solid friends, not necessarily like friends that have kids, some single parents, some no parents, you know, but it's nice to have like that outside look, you know what I mean? And obviously they're getting the one side of the story, they're not getting two sides of the story, but you know, they're there to support you. That's what friends are for, family too. Like I go to my dad a lot too with like certain things, or even my mom. Just like, those kids drive me crazy. Like, what do you do? You know, what would you do? My mom, sometimes she's just like, oh, just leave. And it's like, but mom, that's not what you would have done with us.
right?
Like, step up your game here. Like, you know,
Yeah, grandparents, man, they're slipping.
it's
though.
bullshit though, for
Bro,
real.
like, you know how many times I've had to lecture my in-laws and my parents about like helping with disciplining?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're the grandparents. We don't do that.
Yeah, we
you
don't
know?
do
Yeah, it's
that.
like, no.
What the?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes Carter will come home and like after he's at my parents or Sneeze's parents, and he's like, we'll be like, you can't do that. He'll be like, and does it anyways. Like, no rules apply to him. He's like, I just came from my grandparents. The
Yeah.
fuck do you know?
My kid wilds out when she gets back from my mom's place. Like she gets home and she's like this fucking crazy, like out of control. I don't know what it is. Probably just like loading up with sugar or something like that. I don't
That's
know,
what I
man.
think.
It's always right before
grandparents do.
bedtime, I find, too. The
Yeah.
kids always just get like all
Yeah.
riled up and stuff.
Yeah.
A couple of
Yeah.
nights ago, my mom was giving Carter a tiramisu. And then I found out there's like
It's coffee in it. Yeah.
And I'm like, what the? And it was like 6 o'clock at night.
He likes it.
Great.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said. She's like, she likes it, but I didn't know. I think
Do you guys share the responsibilities at home, like with your partners, like cooking and stuff like that? Or is it just like the wife cooks, you work kind of thing? Or like how does that work? What's the dynamic like?
I think my like our family dynamic is backwards. She's not allowed to do laundry because I have to do it. I have like
Very
Specific
particular
air
with your
control.
stuff?
Yeah,
Think
like
about the
That's
lunch.
fair.
she did laundry one time and then like my shirt shrunk and all that kind of stuff.
Oh.
And like she just tosses everything in dryer. So since then I was like,
I'll
I
do
take,
laundry.
Yeah, I take
Cool.
charge of laundry, but we split cooking. So if I cook, she does dishes. If she cooks, I do dishes.
Do you like cooking?
It's not, you know what? I do, but I also don't. It's like 50-50.
Depends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on what you're making.
Depends when you're making. I
What
guess.
I'm making or
Reservations.
like if I'm in the mood for it, but I do like the outcome of what I cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always the prep and the cleanup that's a pain in the ass with cooking, man.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
then with ours, it's like how much groceries goes into the meal.
Yo, that you got like
Yeah, you got a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
that's crazy.
Somebody said, "Oh, you got a whole starting lineup now, man."
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you got a 3-year-old. She probably just, nibbles a little bit here and there. Or does
Oh
she
man,
a
I
lot?
can't get this kid to eat anything.
Really?
Around the topic.
Picky
Like,
eater?
she's so picky. Like the only vegetables she'll eat are French fries and pizza sauce. man. Like,
That's my girl. Sounds like my girl.
I mean, I ain't mad at it. Like she's like on that chicken nugget diet. You know what I'm saying? But,
Nuggets and fries.
like I said, just pick and choose your battles, man. As long as she's
Okay.
fed, that's all I care
Like
about.
has
at the
it
end of
always
the
been
day.
like that?
It's been like that for like the last year. It's been like so tough to get her to try anything new. So
Man, I can't even get Carter to eat a chicken nugget.
Really?
You'd
No?
rather eat broccoli.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mateo's
really?
pretty open
Oh,
with
yeah,
like
that's
everything.
good.
Like Carter
That's
doesn't
good,
like
man.
eating meat. He just like he'll eat salmon's his favorite thing, but he'll only eat fruits and vegetables.
crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Keep
man.
it up
My
while it
kids are
lasts.
I know, but
Yes.
sometimes like if you get like I get him something to eat and then it's like I need you to eat it. He's like, nah.
It's the pressure, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I think like maybe when like Liv was a kid, we used to like sneak the food in her mouth. You know what I mean? Like just stuff a spoon in her mouth, and I think they just like bit us back now. Like she just doesn't trust us. She's like,
No way.
no, that's not going anywhere in my
for
mouth
that.
now. Yeah, exactly. So we survive.
Yeah, I bet.
We do what we can.
What was their question?
Oh, the resources. That's what it was.
Okay, right.
Oh yeah.
Resources. Yeah. I guess I got some good friends that I talk to about all that stuff, man. Like I notice with the boys, it's always like like one of my best friends, Harving. We just always blaze, and he lives down the street, so we always just blaze and talk about funny things going on.
Yeah.
And like usually when we're talking about parenting advice, in quotes, we're just like laughing our asses
Yeah.
off, and like so it's good to have those. But other resources too, actually, man, is just reading, man. Since I started business, it's just reading a bunch of shit every day and friggin' this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and you can learn so much from that, man. There's so much crap out there that you can learn, and yeah.
TikTok.
Oh my
Yeah, that's
god,
true.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
things you can learn on TikTok. I know I'm not one to like make the videos, but I'll like watch them. But like, there's some really like educational things that you
There
can,
are,
There,
yeah.
I
like,
don't know.
There.
I don't
you know. Yeah.
Ask your 17-year-old daughter.
Yes,
She
no.
knows
That's why I
everything
had the biggest reaction is because friggin' they were all doing the dances and all that shit for like years, man. Like, thank God they're. Actually, I think they still do that, but a little bit. But
Gotta get viral, Dad.
oh my
Yeah,
god, man,
here, get them followers.
And now that we're talking about books, though, is like, are there any like good parenting books that you guys have read or anything like that? Or maybe not even just like parenting, but just like anything like self-help, maybe a good piece of fiction or a biography or something like that you guys read that.
Man, my favorite
Recently?
author for not like it's for creatives, but I have read all 3 of his books, and I think they just help with maintaining like your workflow in your brain and how things work and how to control balance. Is his name is Austin Kleon. So he's come up with books. His first book was called Steal Like an Artist, and he has 2 other ones, which is Keep Going and Show Your Work. So it does work with a lot of business stuff, especially with creatives,
Mm.
but it helps with also being creative as a parent, I found.
Oh, that's
Like,
dope. It's like repurposing that
Yeah, like
that knowledge.
it just depends on how you take it, right? You can read any book and you kind of look at it and you
Interpret it.
like interpret it
Yeah.
the way you need to interpret it for your life right now. Like if you have a kid right now, then interpret to that. If you're single and you have a business, and you kind of trigger it to that kind of stuff.
Dope.
But those are my favorite reads from this year so far.
Awesome.
Nice. Yeah, for me, Jordan Peterson, he's like a psychologist. My boy, that's my boy JP that is showing out to Nikki. But yeah, he just talks about like the role of a parent. Like, there's all this talk about toxic masculinity and stuff like that. But he just talks about the role of a parent, and especially the role of a father. How one of the main things is encouragement, instilling courage into your kids and pushing them to try to do shit. Like test themselves, all that stuff. So he's one. And then, like, again, it's like a lot of psychology, self-help stuff that really helps. The other one is like Jocko Willink. He's like a Navy SEAL dude.
Oh yeah, I know Jocko.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's just a lot of crazy values. Like it seems kind of intense because it's like Navy SEAL, Army stuff, but a lot of the same things apply. It's like discipline, goals, like simple plans, like that you can
It's a
follow.
lot like that David Goggins guy too, right?
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
the Navy SEAls are nothing to Filipino parents.
yeah, for real. So
Yeah, I honestly, I'm gonna have to check out those books and stuff like that. Get the names, because I'm not much of a reader. I'll be honest with you guys, but I do check out quite a few podcasts, and just isn't like nothing.
It's all good, man. I
Like,
literally
you
have
know.
tried to turn my life around since January 1st. Like I only started reading this year, and I try to read at least 3 books a month. Like it was
Yeah,
just
that's
it
cool.
was like one of those things that I tried to set as a goal because I never read. I never journaled or anything, and I needed to change, like the way my
Mental
brain
space.
was being triggered, and
Yeah.
how things work.
What are some podcasts that you like to listen to?
Ham. Just
Shout out,
kidding.
shout
Yeah.
out.
Honestly, they're just more like like sleep meditation. So like I put them on before I go to bed, and it's just like kind of like different ones, like self-worth type ones, or like anxiety, or how to like continue like a positive positive attitude throughout your day, regardless of the kind of struggles that like you're facing and things like that. I find that helps me a lot. I'll usually play it right before bedtime. I'll leave it like on and just like fall asleep subconsciously to it. It's like meditating. It's almost like hypnosis type stuff. So I find that usually relaxes me and helps me out. But I still also, struggle some days trying to get out of the shitty state that you can get yourself into.
Yeah.
You know what I
No
mean?
doubt. Well, it sounds like we all meditate. I meditate too as well here. It's like it's kind of cool that like all of us here sitting at this table right now really take mental health to heart. It's like really, really important thing to keep you kind of fine tuned.
Absolutely.
Keep on moving in terms of a parent, as a partner, those sorts of things. The book that I'm reading right now actually is like one of the really good ones, like really impactful. It's called Peace in Every Step. It's written by I can't even remember the guy's name. He's a Vietnamese monk, but it instills like this meditation practice in like absolutely everything you can do in every day. Like you're talking about like all those dishes in the sink. That's an opportunity to meditate right there. It's just sit there and just clear your mind. Be free again in that
While you
moment.
wash the dishes.
Yeah, exactly. right? It sounds like super like new wave type of stuff, but it's great. Like honestly, like meditation is so important. Like I'm a Calm user. I listen to like little sleep stories at night as well too. I try to do like the daily Calm every day, like the 10 minutes a day at least. A couple times a week. Whatever.
It's
Whatever
tough though
I can fit
sometimes.
in.
Yeah, like because I mean, sometimes I get a notification on my watch. It's like, okay, now time to breathe, and it's like, fuck off, I got work to do. Like,
Bitch, I'm busy.
yeah,
right now.
exactly. I'm at my computer.
I got deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well, like I mean, let's talk about like maybe the pandemic a little bit, right? Like this is not really on script right now, but like, what are some of the things? This is probably just repeating some of the same stuff that we just talked about, but like, what are some of the things that like maybe we struggled with during the pandemic, and what are some of the things that like helped you out through this pandemic, and what we're looking forward to after this shit's over? Because like it feels like we're almost there, man.
Yeah,
We're getting close, right? We all got stuck in the arm at least one time, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready to move forward.
I don't know. The toughest, I wouldn't say it was the toughest thing, but for me, a big change was, I moved back. Well, like lived with Mateo's mom for a bit. Like I moved back into her place for like 6 months or something like that during the pandemic. I'd go back to my place every weekend and things, but during the lockdown and stuff like that, it was all so new to us. Like Mateo wasn't going to school, so he was doing online. I was working from home. She was working from home, so we all had our setup at home. But at the same time, like I kind of in a sense like didn't want to leave her. Like, okay, you fend for yourself and Mateo. See ya, you know what I mean? So like I had to step in as a father and be there and help him out and stuff like that. So I think it was more of a challenge in trying to like rearrange my life. Well, not that anything else was happening during the pandemic, but still, like, you know, I just used to my space, used to my like my own place, right? But
it was like the priority, right? You made that the priority.
of course, my little man is always my priority, no matter what.
Yeah.
That was the biggest challenge for me, at least. Well, not challenge. That was the biggest change, I should say.
I think because when the pandemic started, it started on my 30th birthday, March 17th.
Oh,
Oh
damn.
shit.
So it was like, you know, like you had a plan, you had a life before it. But I think the thing that I struggled the most with, or was trying to balance and figure things out, was how to raise a newborn that was always out and about. Like we were always out in the mountains or even just doing mall walks. You know, like that really helped with a lot of our mental health with getting out of the house and stuff. Yeah. And, you know, to stop like so abruptly. And he was just, because we were living with my parents at the time, and for him to be surrounded by the same four walls in our bedroom and then to be in the living room and then maybe be in my home office, which is like the room across, like, you know, try to give him different views. And it's winter time. Like you can't really take a kid out when it's like -40.
Yeah.
And even if you could, where could we go? That was kind of like one of the things that really got to us was
It's being trapped.
Being trapped, and then being a business owner. And for me, my business is printing garments or printing clothing. Was a lot of my jobs got put on hold with all the small businesses that I was working with. And then I had to adapt with my printing business, it kind of slowed down. With my clothing company, like no one's going to be buying clothes like during the pandemic because they don't know about their jobs. They don't know about their finances and stuff. So trying to figure out like what was the best thing to pivot into. And it just so happened that, you know, when masks start becoming a mandate, like before that happened, I kind of made a mask on the side under my own brand, and I just put it up online, me wearing it, not like advertising or anything that I'm selling these. And it was just by chance that people start texting me and calling me like, hey, are you making these? Because I don't want to wear that blue mask if you don't have to do it, kind of thing. And that was like learning how to use a sewing machine. Like I learned how to use a sewing machine and made my own template of how I make a mask within 24 hours.
Nice.
And it was like, that was a change. And my whole business from printing garments went into
making masks.
Making masks and cut and sew. And like I still did the printing and stuff, but it was like, again, just changing and adapting to that. But that was like the thing that for me as a business owner and as a dad and a husband was all these changes happening so abruptly, and then, you know, hoping that things work out in the end.
Yeah, I guess mine was kind of similar too. Like with my business, I guess we focused more on fitness. That was kind of a big move. With the run, boom, the run. They shut down our operations completely, man. So you do what you got to do, but we kind of recovered. We have like bigger and better plans that we're working on. Even thanks to Mike here. Mike's the business coach here. With the kids wise, man, it's kind of crazy because, like for me, on one hand, it was kind of like a blessing because we were kind of doing the same thing as you because I was watching Scarlett during the day. Nikki's a nurse, and then she'd go to work. She comes back home at 3, and then I start working and things like that, right? But then the kids, and now we got all babysitters and shit. But they had their own work to do, and you know, not only was it, you know, a struggle with Scarlett, but it was a struggle with the kids because shoot, that's kind of a bomb dropped on everybody. They're forced to do their own learning and have so many things to like where they can get away with easy shit. Just turn off the screen, turn off the mic, and like you go in their room. Sometimes they're passed out. And shit. Like,
Yo, that's
is this
smart.
a school, man? But yeah, so I don't know. Those are our things, but I guess we're still dealing with that.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. I always try to make light of it, but it's been hard for everybody for damn sure, man.
For damn sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that hasn't been affected by
Yeah.
any of this. I mean, for me too, like my business suffered for sure. Like I know, like coming into 2020, I'm like, yo, this is my year, man. I'm gonna kill it. This
That's
photography
exactly
thing
how
is
I
gonna
felt.
blow up. It's gonna be sick. And then no.
Yeah, I was in Mexico when I got back. It was like the beginning of March when I got back. I got back on my birthday, March 4th, actually. And then I went back to work for a few days. And then my VP called and he's like, hey, when did you get back from Mexico? I was like, last week. He's like, sorry, we're going to have to let you go back home until you're done your 14 days.
Damn.
Oh,
And
dang.
then like that Sunday is when like NBA started shutting down the
Yeah.
games and all that sort of
Oh,
stuff. And then
man.
shit got real. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck.
It's like this is a real thing now. Shit.
But speaking as business owners, right, for all of us here, as you all know, I am a local business owner called By Miles Design and Print Studios, Calgary's go-to print shop and custom printed garments and more. I want to bring quality and design, whether you're a startup company or have been building your company and brand for years, or simply getting that perfect gift. But when you search or Google print shop or garment, most of the time you get companies outside of Calgary and even Canada. Father's Day is around the corner, and it can be a little hard to find the perfect gift. Sokol Local has tons of gift ideas for any type of dad. And as an added bonus, you'll be supporting locals like myself, Jason, Stevie. And while you're doing it, you can find the perfect gift for your old man by downloading the Sokol Local app, available for iOS and Android. Don't let the fear of starting your own brand scare you. Let us help you.
Sweet.
Wow. So did we just complete our first episode?
I think
Is
so.
that-
I think that's it for us,
is that
guys.
a wrap? All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Albert, Patricio,
Thank you.
Jason, for joining me on this new journey. We're building a community here from the ground up, and I'm
Save space for dads.
safe space for dads, and I can't see. I
Yo, and
can't-
we want to see more dads on here.
absolutely,
Right?
man.
Yeah,
for
put
real.
some
I
Shout
love
out
the
for
single
dads.
episodes, but I think this is so dope to get like all of us kind of just sitting together and just
Should like a
shooting the
round
shit.
table,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Like the shop or something like
Yeah.
that.
Have some beers, you know.
Yeah,
can't
this is
complain.
great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
But yeah,
guys-
we're building a community here, so this is dope, and I just want to thank all of you guys for being here.
Yeah, thank you guys for, coming out tonight. It was fun getting to meet you guys, getting to chat, see what tips you guys have for parenting. So awesome. So yeah, we're that's it for us today. So
That's a wrap.
yeah, that's a wrap. Be kind. Most importantly, love yourself even on the hardest of days, guys. Take care.
Peace.
Bye.
Yo, I think we can keep talking, man. I don't know.
I don't know, I think we
I
should.
think we got another hour in us. Should we just keep talking?
Let us know in the comments if you guys want us to keep talking.
If you want to jump, if
Like
you want
and
this to double up to
subscribe.
2 hours, let us know.
Yeah.
You only get this once every couple months, right?
Yeah, for real.
I kind of like passed the 30-minute mark. It was like 57 mark when I was like, all right, you're up, man.
Maybe they could like edit that in.
I
there.
was-
But I was
like-
trying to get your attention there. You were like looking down, and I'm like,
I was like looking at my papers. I was like, I feel like we're gone. Like, and then we started talking about business. And I'm like, okay, you told me
Yeah.
single. I'm like, hey, you talk about business. I talked. Okay, you talk.
we
okay,
good.
we got
This is
this.
a
Now. We're talking
segue.
about business. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like looking at the thing. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, I know.
40 something minutes.
I came late, man. So was there a time? I still don't know what's going on here, man.
But it was like, are we done? What's going on?
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to cut Jason off. I don't want to cut Jason off.
No, for sure. That was pretty sweet. I think we did good.
That was fun, man. And we barely even touched any of these questions.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
We touched like the first couple ones, and then we all elaborated quite
You know
a
what
bit.
though? I hope they're still recording because they could just cut and paste. You can put the BTS on
Yeah.
this stuff.
Real,
Yeah,
right?
right.
No kidding.
Bloopers.
But yeah, I didn't know how this was gonna work, and I didn't know like how it would work with the list. But it was like so cool just to kind of like talk about, all experience, like
dad
especially
stuff.
with yours, like you just have the whole range, and I'm just like
Mm.
so curious how
Yeah.
things work.
That's a good question, actually. The like bedtime. What does bedtime look like at your house?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does your 17 put your 3-year-old to bed, or like?
yeah, because I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, sometimes she'll put her to bed, or
No, we're pretty free there, but
Yeah.
shoot, this is. Did you guys want to dig into some more of these questions, man?
Yeah, fuck yeah,
Sure,
why
man.
not?
We got some time, man.
they ain't stopping
I
us.
kind of.
I mean, I listen to Rogan, right? And that's like a 3-hour
Yeah,
podcast.
that
But even
thing
like-
lasts forever.
Because you guys were all talking about resources, right?
Yeah.
And for me, and you know my boys, like none of them have kids.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
that's
and
true.
you know, like my homies too, like Rupert, Rob, like
Yeah, yeah.
none of my homies have kids. Like I'm the only one out of my whole group of
breaking
boys.
new
Yeah.
ground.
Like I have my older cousin that has a kid, and he lives a couple blocks away from me in Airdrie and stuff, which is dope. But you know what's really helped me besides podcasts was a Clubhouse. I don't know
Oh,
if you guys
yeah.
know Clubhouse.
Yeah, my
Like
wife's
the
all
channel?
about it.
What is that?
Oh, isn't
Yeah.
that like the new app where you
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah,
like
you just
okay.
go into a room
Yeah.
and then people will talk.
It's like a forum kind of thing, but
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, are
Almost
you use like live
exactly.
chat kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like for example, I got a notification right now for something about music. So I can hop in and we just talk about straight hip hop. And then there's stuff where it was like during when I was really, really into it was like other dads. Like, yeah, today my kid had a fucking blowout and I had a panic attack and I didn't know what to fucking do.
That's pretty cool though. Like I mean that you
What
can
do
go
I do?
somewhere like that and
Yeah, and like
Get strangers to help you out.
and it's
too.
strangers.
Yeah.
Unbiased.
But like
Exactly.
all my like dad friends I've never met in real life. Everyone's been through
Really?
Instagram. Yeah.
it's crazy.
That is
So like
you built your own like kind of like resources.
Network of
around
dads
it.
yeah, like
kinda
you know what though is crazy, and it's not like to toot this podcast horn, but like when I was on the Ham podcast, and a lot of other dads, like a lot of my dad friends are from Toronto, and they're just like sneakerheads, and that's kind of like how we all got together was just through the love of sneakers,
Yeah.
and then they had kids, and then when I had my son, it just happened naturally.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
we're like they would ask me how am I doing, how's things. And it was like there were points where I was like, fuck, like I talked about in the podcast where I went and I was what do you call it again? Postpartum depression. And they would reach out to me, which was nice because I got comfortable with reaching out to other dads now that had kids.
Yeah.
And it was like, how are you doing? But yeah, a lot of my dad friends are just guys I've never met in real life.
That's really dope. Actually, you kind of created that yourself.
Because then you surround yourself around the people like you create that energy around you, right? You
Yeah.
want to have like I don't know, you build your network, the people that you want to be there to support
And it's
you.
not like my boys here can't help out. It's just they don't understand.
They don't understand.
Yeah, talking about parent stuff with guys that don't have kids is kind of like
You know, like the majority of my
they
friends
don't
are,
they don't understand.
Yeah.
No disrespect. They just don't know.
then
they can't
they have all this
relate.
advice,
You-
though, like without the kids.
It's like, what do you mean he doesn't sleep?
and then you have like the pet parents that are like, oh no, I totally understand. My dog is the same. It's
Oh,
like, fuck you. Your dog is not the
We
same
all
as my
know
kid.
those,
Yeah, we all know
I remember
those.
just like people inviting us to come out, like to people like houses and stuff before the pandemic. They're like, "Oh, I just bring them." I'm like, "You can take care of
No.
them."
yeah,
man.
exactly.
Like
I ain't gonna have
No.
I'm not
that
gonna
was
have
like the
fun.
only time we maybe had like a routine. And I want to bring this up, but the whole routine thing, we took a birth and babies class, and like a lot of those parents were like either by the book, and we felt like we had to do that shit because they're like, yeah, we read this. This, like,
we have
like-
sex on Saturdays. like those
They're
kind of
like,
parents.
they would read the
So
what is it?
structured,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
They would
Routine.
read the sleeping, like
Oh,
like how to put your kid to sleep.
Oh yeah.
And then some of them were like, yeah, we got sleep trainers.
oh,
Oh, what the fuck?
I,
What is that?
yeah.
You sound like
I've
rich
heard of that, like
people.
therapists and stuff like that, right? Like
No,
sleep
no, like
therapists?
they would get like they would pay a person to put their kid to sleep, but like try
How
to
much?
schedule.
Yeah.
Yo, it's crazy
They
because like
pay people like us to put their kids to
'cause
sleep.
it's crazy because there's like some like no knock on those parents, but there were some like that hired these people 2 weeks after the baby was born,
Oh, those are like
and I'm like, what the fuck?
those are the
bro?
dark and dirty days, man. You gotta
You
survive.
gotta grind
those.
that shit out, right?
You gotta survive that, man.
But they
That's
yeah,
birth by
like
fire
I've
right
never
there.
heard of this stuff until I was in this class with some of them, and yeah, it was just like we kind of fell into this hole because it was like, yeah, we were co-parent, like co-sleeping, like, oh, you guys do that, like you're not supposed to,
bro.
but we're like, yo,
Don't
but
even
you
get
don't.
started.
First of all,
Everybody
listen
does
to
it.
our-
Don't get me started, bro.
We're fucking Filipino,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, yeah,
we're
that's the
like
one number
two of
one,
Asian
yeah.
couples like that were in this thing, and we're like, yo, in the Filipino culture, like this is the shit that we go through, and like.
Yeah.
You go tell my parents not to sleep in bed with them.
Yeah, like
dare you.
and it was just like, and we can't blame them either because it's just a cultural thing, right? But
Absolutely.
it was just like we kind of felt shitty at first because we're like, what, like we're not supposed
What's
to
wrong
do
with
this.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I grew up like that. I'm like, I'm not nothing wrong with me.
There's like, okay, so I remember like going to like that pre-birthing class or whatever you want to call them. I don't even know what they're called. Everyone in my class is the same way, man. They like wanted to go do everything by the book, and then if things didn't go their way, they would be like upset. Like they were actually saying that, like if my pregnancy or my labor was a C-section, I'm going to be like so mad and so disappointed. And like Chloe and I are like, these guys are clowns, man. Like these are not our people, man. I have no relationship with anybody in this class because like I don't like them.
That was just like some of the stuff that we would hear, like they just wanted it by a certain way and this and that, and I'm like, man, like me and Sen would just be like, well, we're just gonna go with
whatever happens.
Like you can't predict shit.
No, you can't. Know? But like I fell victim to that expectations too. Like, you know, I thought I had expectation of what fatherhood would look like, or how, you know, what a good child would be, or how to raise a good child. And when things didn't go that way, you know, I felt like
I think that's like one of the things that really stressed me out was like reading these books. I'm like, yo, he's not sleeping at 7:30. What the fuck? You're supposed to be sleeping right now.
But yeah, because then you have people telling you like, oh, your kid's not in bed yet. Like, oh, they should be in bed by now. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
I definitely experienced
that shit. For sure. Fucks you up. Man.
It does definitely. And it's like just comparing yourself to other parents or like other kids, but like no kids are like that. Like every kid's different.
Every parent's different. Yeah.
Every parent's different. Chloe always tells me every time. I said this on my podcast. I said that you're not raising robots, right?
Everyone's different.
Yeah, everyone's different. Exactly.
And on top of that, like, social media can be very toxic.
Oh, it fucks people up.
Yeah.
I mean, grown adults, it messes people up. You know what I mean? So I can't imagine kids, and that's something with Mateo, because he's just like, Dad, I want an Instagram, and it's like, no, man, because like he sees me on my Instagram and shit like that, and he's just like, but Dad, like, come on, and then he'll be like, Dad, are you gonna post that picture? Like, what if I'll take a picture of me and him? He's like, post that picture, and then I'll post it. How many likes did you get? And I'm like, buddy, like that shit doesn't matter. Like, who cares? You know?
Did you use this hashtag?
Yeah. Like, buddy, what do you like? You know? But yeah, like that's part of like the whole balance of like the screen time, because right now it's all video games and like YouTube channels and stuff like that, but then it'll turn into like Facebook, Twitter, or whatever the fuck, TikTok.
Whatever's around.
Yeah, you know, whatever comes out in like the future too, right? Because you know our kids are gonna be all about that shit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
That's the struggle.
But yeah, like it's crazy because I know, like we have felt victim to it sometimes, but you see a certain parent and you're like, oh fuck. Their kid is the same age as our kid and they're already walking or they're already doing this. And, and you're like, okay, well, like for Carter, you should, you should be doing this. And like, you shouldn't have to do shit.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. We're trying to do the potty training right now. Oh, man.
How's that going?
It's a struggle, bro.
Is it?
It's a struggle. Like, I'm not, again, the expectations like, oh, you're 3, man. You should be shitting in the toilet now. What the hell are you doing?
I showed you once already. What the hell?
You watch me pee all the damn time. What's going on here? I know it looks a little different, but come on.
Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, maybe. Not a really good role model right now, for sure.
Yeah, you got to start sitting on the toilet.
Hey, whatever I got to do, man. I'm sick of buying diapers, so let's get out of here.
No, for sure.
Do you guys have any breaking of the cycle stories, like making the same mistakes as your dad? I remember you were saying your dad's like a hard ass or something.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh man, I got generations of that. So, like my grandfather and my great grandfather, they didn't get along. So my last name is Ballart, but it should have been Cleese. But my grandfather changed his last name in spite of his father. You know what I mean? Like it goes that far back.
So then where did Ballard come from?
It's his mother's maiden name. He took his mother's maiden name instead. So, yeah, like I mean. It's like that generational thing, right? Like you kind of like grow up and like your father treats you a certain way and like unconsciously you just do the same thing, you know what I mean? Like you just kind of react the same way that your father reacted to you, you know? Like I'm a sensitive guy. If you yell at me, I'm gonna be like, damn, what did I do? Like don't it hurts my feelings a little bit, you know what I mean? So like I was fortunate, like there's different type of dads. There's dads that like neglect you. There's dads that like beat the crap out of you. You know, there's like all these different things that like your fathers can do to you, right? And sometimes we don't realize that we carry that unconsciously with us until sometimes we have kids, and then you sometimes do the same things unknowingly, right? And that's why I talk about like that whole consciously parenting type of thing. You know, thinking before you react. You know, that's one of the things that that I've been kind of exploring more in my life, and like I've had some really amazing conversations with my dad about this topic now. You know, like we've opened up this conversation now. He's told me things that I've never heard in my entire life, like these different stories about like experiences with his father, experiences with his nephew, his siblings and stuff like that. Like things that just like helped me understand him more and where he came from and why he acted that way. You know what I mean? So
And I think a lot of that has to do, sorry to cut you off there, but I think a lot of that has to do with like opening up and being like more open in the sense of with like mental health and stuff like that. Because like
sure.
at the same time, like for me, not wanting to be like my dad in the sense where he was not a hard ass, but he was very like strict. Like when my dad fucking like laid down the law, like he meant business, right? So I kind of wanted to like not necessarily be that way with Mateo, but at the same time I wanted to be firm with him, but not necessarily firm in a sense where it would be like that toxic masculinity kind of bullshit. You know what I mean? Because at the same time I wanted him to be like a sensitive human being too, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being somebody that, you know, can express your emotions or how you feel or anything like that. So I think that's where like I'm trying to find like a nice balance, because like at times I do find myself like my dad where I'm just like, hey, you know, like get your ass over here, and then it's like, oh shit.
Sometimes that's for me to talk to my dad now. Like after I had Carter, sometimes I'm like, I'm not scared, but I'm like shy to like say like, hey dad.
But like shy to say what?
Like if I was just
like
ask him
express
like,
emotions.
yeah, like not like. I've come to the point where I don't give a fuck, where I could express my emotion to my dad. But if I were to talk to him about something more that's like emotional, like sometimes I struggle with that because it's like, I'm still hard, dad. Don't worry. You know, like I just have that mentality.
Yeah.
Like, but like if I cry, dad, you just gotta listen to me. Like,
if I break down, don't judge me.
Yeah, don't tell me to stop
but
crying.
like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like sometimes I just have that like I'm pretty sure my dad doesn't care.
Yeah.
But in the back of my head,
You care.
Yeah, I care.
Yeah.
But I care because I'm like, well, didn't you raise me to be like this?
Yeah.
And that's where that toxic masculinity bullshit comes in. And that's where, like, for me in my situation, where I felt like I was not trapped, but like where I became, where I felt like I had to hide my sexuality, hide the fact that I was truly gay, and not that I was like ashamed. Well, I definitely was like afraid of coming out and stuff like that, because like even growing up as a kid, I remember like crying and stuff like that. Or, you know, my grandma would be like, boys don't cry, like get up, who cares, go keep playing, you know, shit like that. And I know that they never meant any harm in that kind of shit, but it's still like, it fucks you up as a kid. Same thing with like my cousins and stuff. Like I have a big family, so like generally like we would all the cousins would go downstairs, the boys would go one way, the girls would go another way, and I would always just like go with the girls. And then my parents would be like, no, like boys with boys and girls with girls kind of thing, you know. And that was just like, now like what the fuck, you know. So that like, you know, messed me up to the point where, not messed me up, but like I guess I felt like it was wrong to be gay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like having to find not that I like picked Jenna, but like I genuinely fell in love with her. I thought she was the woman of my dreams. And I don't know if you guys heard this in my other podcast, but like, you know, I genuinely fell in love with her. We created a life and things like that. But then everything that I thought about like other guys, I thought was a phase, you know? So then I moved on from that, but then it truly wasn't. When I had Mateo was when it's like weighed heavily upon me, because I was like, then that was what kept me up at night. And this was what I was going to say earlier, but like, that's what would have kept me up at night, was the fact that like, what the fuck do I do? Do I come out now and just like risk the consequences of losing my family and potentially maybe not seeing my son every day? Or do I wait until like we're fucking old, Mateo's 20 years old, he doesn't give a fuck about his parents anymore, you know, kind of thing, and then come out then? But then at the same time, I risk losing him at the same time, because like I raised like a lie. I raised him in like a lie kind of thing, right? So I felt like that's something that would keep me up most of the nights when I first had Mateo. And that's kind of like what pushed me to come out, because it was either like, I either like fucking like bite the bullet, take this, you know, like suffer the consequences, take it like a man, I guess you could say. But yeah, I had no choice. And Mateo, like he's my priority. I would never like, I could not imagine turning my back on him or leaving him behind or anything like that. So for me, it was like no choice, right?
I can only imagine like you just laying in bed and you're just thinking about stuff like that. Because sometimes I think about my brother because my brother didn't come out till I want to say like 5 years ago.
Oh, really?
When he turned 40. But he never came out to me, but like I always knew.
Yeah.
Like me and all my cousins just knew.
Yeah.
Just the things, the way he was like, the way he acted, and very flamboyant. Like you can, like I just
the gator.
yeah, like I just felt it. Like that's my brother.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been around him a lot. My
And
whole
that was like
life.
my sister too. Like I was sorry to cut you off, but she, same thing. Like when I came out, she was like, you know, like I knew a brother, but like I couldn't tell you that you were gay. You had to like realize
Yeah.
it yourself.
But my brother never told me.
You know.
He told my mom. But then my mom told me, and I was like, yeah, I knew. She's like, how do you know? I'm like, what do you
Like
mean?
mom.
Your mom's told everybody out there. It's like,
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
oh,
but
thanks,
like
for, thanks for sharing that though. Like that's like some real shit right there for real. Like I think what you did was probably like the right choice. You know, it definitely could have backfired if you did it like later on in Mateo's life.
And I like I said, I think I was ready to suffer the consequences regardless of whether or not I was going to lose him at a young age or lose him at an old age. Thankfully though, his mom, you know, she's an amazing woman. She had my back the whole time, and she like
awesome.
stood behind me when like I came out to my parents, my sister, everybody, right? So, and like to this day, like we still have a great relationship and stuff like that. So
But like you said earlier, pick your hard, right?
Yeah.
Right. You either live until he's like 20, and it's like it's hard for you mentally and everything, right?
Yeah.
Or you tell him now, and then he can kind of live the life,
yeah.
right?
And like he knows, and it's funny because like now like he hangs out with like me and my buddies, and like the majority of my friends are all gay and stuff like that. So he's fully aware of this stuff, but to him and like even to my nephews and my nieces, they couldn't comprehend why I wouldn't be like just open already. You know what I mean? Why I had to hide that kind of thing, because they never grew up in like the day where being gay was like something that was like
wow, that's so
fucked
weird.
up.
I felt like saying
Oh.
that you and your nephews. I felt like that with my brother.
Really?
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Just-
But you like I guess it's just something that as a person you go through it internally, right?
Yeah.
Like you just your mind fucks with you, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, for me, man, I don't know with the parents, man. I was kind of different. My dad wasn't really around, man. My dad, he struggled badly with like addiction and drugs and things like that. So he was kind of in and out all the time of my life. And when he was in, he was always kind of making a mess and making everything crazy. So yeah, that's how kind of my life was, and that's why coming into fatherhood so young. Like for me, it was all about like trying to be a good dad. It's like, oh, if I ever have kids, man, yo, I'm just gonna fucking be the best dad I can be, blah, blah, you know. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough, man. It's tough to just deal with all that stuff. And that's funny that you bring the toxic masculinity stuff up, because I don't believe in that at all. But I know what happens, because when you don't have like a dad and when you don't have like strong male figures, fuck, it's just a free for all, right? It's like, yeah, you like the gay and you know like the way you talk, like the way people talk, it's like it's just a free for all, and it's like almost like vulgar, you know, and it can be called toxic, but it's just a lot to me. Like, as my understanding of it, it's just a lack of strong male figures. You know, like nobody showed me how to do that like back in the day. So, like,
Yeah, you can almost like relate it more to like discipline, right?
yes, and then that was the whole thing, man. I was like, fuck, it's crazy because my dad, aside from the addiction issues, I pretty much turned exactly the way he did, man. Like we started out welding, we love basketball, we love boxing. Every fucking thing is the same, you know. But it's those things that I have to change the discipline, like commitment to your wife, to your family, to all that stuff. So I guess that's where I'm trying to like break the past or whatever, you know. So.
Thanks for sharing that too. Yeah, like I like how you said like you take like some of the good things from your father. You inherited that.
Yeah.
You kind of keep that legacy going for him still,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, you're kind of like changing the narrative a little bit.
Yes, you got to do like
Big time.
take
I think
what your parents did and take it the extra mile, man. Do
And I
Sure,
think at the
go
end of the
on
day, even though we try not to be like our dads, we take the things that we learned best from them and are using it to raise our kids. You know what I mean? Like for me, even though I think that my dad being a hard ass and yelling at me and being so strict with me was like, you're an asshole. But at the same time, like I want, like, look at me. I think he did a great job raising me as a man. I want the same for my son. So yeah, kind of, I think subconsciously I'm like implementing the way he raised me to raise my son so that I can, you know, he can turn out to be like the same decent human being, because that's at the end of the day, that's I think what all of our goals is to raise decent human beings who love, respect, and treat every other human being with dignity.
good people.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with boys, because like what you said in your podcast, where, you know, I'm not worried about my daughter. I'm worried about like parents of boys should raise their boys to be better.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, me and Sneezer were listening to it. I like looked at Carter and I looked at Sen. I'm like, damn straight. Like, it's not like, you know, yeah, this guy committed something. But if I were to look at it from the roots of it, it's like, yo, who the fuck are your parents? man?
Yeah,
Like,
what
who
the fuck did
fuck's
they
your
teach
dad?
you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's the shit that I look
It
at.
comes
Yeah.
from
'cause
upbringing.
Yeah.
right?
Because I always
Exactly.
think about it too. Like if Carter turns out to be a shitty kid, that's on me. That's not on like nobody else to be blamed for it. Because that's how I view it. And that's like when you said, I was like, I believe that. Like it is about the father figure or another figure, like another like male figure, or you know a mother that can help raise you to be a better like man.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. No, and I think
respect that.
shit works in mysterious ways too, man. Like, I think that's why I have 4 girls. You know, I think I was supposed to learn something out of it, learn how to treat a woman properly. You know, like and be a gentleman.
It's not
you
your
know.
penance, bro. It's not your penance.
So,
No, you're doing great.
thank you, man. Thank you, brother.
Awesome.
But yeah, this is awesome, guys.
Alrighty, guys. One more cheers. Wrap it up
Yes.
here to the
Alright.
first episode.
Yeah.
Dope dads.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers. Thanks to Annex Ales for the
Yeah,
beer.
thank you.
And thanks to Ham Fam for
Yes.
putting us on.
Yeah.
Mm.
Much respect.